Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Emeka here from my self-published blueprint.com, and I got a very, very special guest on the channel today. This is Dale L. Roberts from Dale L. Roberts, self-publishing with Dale L. Roberts. I believe that's the name of your official YouTube channel, isn't it, bud?
That is, yeah, absolutely, and it's even easier to remember on the website selfpublishingwithdale.com.
Perfect. And yeah, man. So welcome. I'm excited to have a chance to sit down and talk with you. We were talking. It's been 30 minutes. We were talking before the camera started rolling here, and we
Yeah, we
covered
should have just
everything.
hit record, man. There was some
We
cool
we
nuggets.
should we should have, right? And but hey, we're here now. We'll just keep the energy going, and this will be an interview where I'm sure we're going to talk about publishing. We're probably going to talk about other things, and we'll just kind of go where it goes, and go with that because that's just kind of the vibe I'm getting.
Hey, awesome, man. I'm an open book. I always tell people nothing's off the table. Just be
Awesome.
prepared. You might want to get your finger on the censor button because every now and then I just go probably a little too deep.
Sounds good, man. Hey, so the people who are seeing you for the first time, meeting you for the first time, can you give us some backstory of how did you get into self-publishing and who is Dale Roberts?
Thanks for asking, man, and I appreciate you bringing me on here. I'm a huge, huge fan of the show. So anybody that's watching this, you're watching the man, and there's a good reason why I named you number one in the top 10 self-publishing channels on YouTube.
I saw that. I've told everybody I know about that. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for for doing that. I
yeah.
was humbled.
Dude, yeah, I completely believe it, and it wasn't just so I can be able to land this interview. If that's the case, why hasn't Tom Corson Knowles called me? Tom, seriously, TCK, you and we got to have a conversation here. I put you number two, dude.
Maybe that was the reason.
Totally, totally just kidding. Tom, I love you, man. You're one of my favorites. You're the OG, dude.
He has some really good stuff too.
Dude, yeah, he's solid, man. One of my absolute favorites for sure. But anyway, Dale L. Roberts, man, it's my little journey here, and I'm going to try to make it as brief as possible so we can really get into the chunk of things. I've always been a passionate reader and writer since as long as I can remember. I love literature. I love to read books. I love to lose track of time. I love to have a suspension of my disbelief. I like to just live in a story or within a nonfiction book, if you will. It doesn't matter. I love reading. So writing was something I gravitated to as a young boy. And I went to college when I was 17 years old, and I went into it to become a journalist. I was led to believe always that, well, you graduate high school, you go to college, you get a degree, you get a job, everything's happy, right?
Hmm.
Not so much. I got into Bowling Green State University, and I came to really find out very quickly that my choice for coursework being journalism and my minor being in English, I discovered it was hard and it wasn't quite what I was shooting for. And forgive the lawnmower in the background. Wonderful. We're only in an interview here. I'm a big star, don't you know? Just ask TCK. He knows. So, any unscripted here, folks.
Yeah.
So, you fast forward some time later. I mean, I got into the healthcare industry, worked in about 20 years. I also became a part-time musician. I also pursued a career in professional wrestling for nearly a decade. And it came to a point to where it was about 2013, and I was working in healthcare, in the healthcare industry as an activities director. I had a wellness coach that she really had no problem in coaching people within my company because it was just like, okay, you eat better, you exercise. And she was just kind of like, okay, well, you eat really good, you exercise really good. Okay. She was just like, let's get a challenge. She's like, give me a challenge. I'm like, all right, I'll do 2,000 squats straight. She's like, no, you don't have to do that many. I was like, well, I already do about 100 a day. And she's kind of going, oh gosh. So she couldn't figure out a way to challenge me until one time we're on a conference call and she says to me, you have so much great information about fitness. Why don't you write a book? And I was just like, yeah, I should. Is that where you're challenging me on? So I immediately made it a challenge that I would get up every day for 1 hour before my wife would wake up so it wouldn't interrupt our life together. And I would just write for an hour straight. And I did this for probably about 90 days until I finally had about 44,000 words that I made into my very first book. It's abysmal. Just want to assure your readers right now, your first book will always be your worst book. Just go ahead and look it up. Look up my first book. It was called The 3 Keys to Greater Health and Happiness. It's got valuable information, but sometimes you just kind of wonder, it's just like, did the editor fall asleep at the wheel? No, I just didn't listen to my editor. That's all. So in any event, I put that book out, and when I saw some sales, it gave me head expands and blows up, and I go, I'm going to quit my day job.
Mhm.
I literally gave a 30-day notice from an awesome job. Love my job working with senior citizens and playing with them all day. Activities directors have an amazing job. It's not easy, but it's definitely fun. So I left that job to become a full-time self-publisher. Now, I ate a lot of ramen noodles and frozen vegetables for a long time, and I learned a lot of very valuable lessons. And that's some of the stuff that I try to express and share within my channel, because I don't want people that are getting into self-publishing or are currently in self-publishing to feel that they have to be on ramen noodles and eating frozen vegetables, that they have to, that they're like, oh, I need to quit my day job in order to make this work. No, you don't need to. And I want to get some of the things that I've learned and help somebody else out, and some of the things that I've failed at, so people can avoid those pitfalls and those potholes within this self-publishing industry. Because man, you and I can both agree there's a lot of freaking potholes, pitfalls, and loopholes that we need to really avoid. And we're in it together, so we might as well try to just lift each other up and raise each other up to a higher standard.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that 100%. So, what was the year that you wrote and published that first book?
2013 was the first edition. I released the
Okay.
second edition in 2014, and that was when it actually was edited. The very first time it was edited, that
Yeah.
you can't really call self-edited edited. It's that's just proofread.
And then when did the whole self-publishing thing start? Like when did you really start figuring it out?
2015.
Yeah.
I had a number of publications that I really started because my reserves, the money that I had set aside really started to drain inside my bank account. And at that time, fortunately, my wife was focusing on an Amazon FBA business that was bringing in a fair amount of money. So I was able to kind of go out and help her out with her business and help draw in probably one of our biggest paying months, ever.
Mhm.
But in the same instance, it was like, we're looking beyond that. We know exactly where FBA is going to come from here at a quarter four down to here in a quarter one. And I'm kind of going, oh crap. Oh. And I'm lucky. I'm telling you, I'm lucky if I was breaking 30, $40 per month with my books.
Mhm.
Because, and that's in general, in Kindle, in paperback. Actually, I don't think I was doing audiobook at the time. So in 2015 was when I really started to focus on it. And I tried to pump out, spray and pray, shotgun out as many niche
Mhm.
based books, thinking it was going to be successful because it was working for some of my peers.
Right.
It wasn't until probably about June or July of 2015 that I got an invite from Jason Brock to meet him up in Chicago. He was going to a Tony Robbins conference and said to a group of the people that he had been training, hey, why don't you guys come meet us up here? My wife and I were like, we're there. We're there. We don't care. We're going to do it. We need this. So we flew out, spent an entire day with Jason. Nobody else took him up on it. And he literally, I'm telling you, he went through my account and he was able to kind of go, well, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Here's a winner. And it was at that point that I started to like, the light bulb goes off above my head and I go, oh, this is what you mean. He literally pointed at my account. He looked at the 90-day home workout plan. And that one right there continues to pull me a significant amount of income in every avenue. And so he said, you need to go back to the well on that. You need to build a brand on that. And he's like, and I'm telling you, if you listen to me, it's a slow burn. He goes, you may not see anything really good for at least the next 6 months. But he's
Mhm.
like, I'm telling you, if you listen to me, 6 months, dude, I swear to you, 6 months to the day, was when it just, boom, email list started blowing up, downloads started blowing up. I saw paperback books going really good, audiobooks. It started just becoming massive. Like, I'm like, I'm like literally crying with happiness because I finally saw the breakthrough, and he was right. It wasn't just these spray and pray shotgunning philosophies that work. It's building a brand. It's connecting with your audience. It's being passionate about one thing and going back to it over and again. If it's successful, that's what you need to do. You need to scale that puppy up. And I know that we're going to probably be talking about scaling.
Yes, definitely. No, that's awesome. I've watched, a few of Jason's videos. He doesn't do too much, in this day and age, really around publishing. But I know he's definitely had some success, and to train some people like yourself to do some great things as well here.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man. And to this day, I'm very fortunate I can call him one of my closest friends. I'm very, very fortunate. I kept on paying for hourly coaching with him till finally one day he just told me, he's kind of like, you don't have to pay me anymore, right? It was like literally like that. I was like, what? He's like, I mean, unless you want to give me money, that's fine.
Mhm.
And I finally asked him, I think it was sometime after the fact, I said, why am I not paying you anymore? He goes, because you're teaching me. I was like, oh, well,
Mhm.
there you go. You owe me money.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, let's talk about what are some, for new publishers, new people getting into self-publishing.
Yeah.
What are some things that you think get overlooked, like the more commonly overlooked things when they start out publishing their first couple of books?
Going into this, and I think you hear this quite a bit, I always hear this very common question, and I'm not poo-pooing or I'm not shaming anybody that asks this. They say, what niche should I publish in? That is
Mhm.
probably the thing that I believe that is overlooked. Now, it's not that they're overlooking that question. What they're jumping over is their purpose for doing publishing.
Mhm.
Why are you in it? What is your purpose for this? Because if you're just coming into for money, well, let's go ahead and look at other options too. I mean, you can be able to pick up a day job over at McDonald's. There's some money. And you can be able to get a job at Walmart. There's some money. Heck, you can even, become a personal trainer. There's money. Why are you doing publishing? Because the people that get into this business just to make money, I'm telling you this right now, it is a dead end. You will burn out really quick. Yeah, I've seen some people come into this business like a freaking firework, man, like a firecracker. They come in and they're like, boom, 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 $10,000 in their first month out, $20,000, $30,000. Do you know what happened to those guys? They burn out fast. They just burn out fast because they hate it. They're like, I don't like this. I don't enjoy pumping out this werebear shapeshifter romance book. Like, do you enjoy that? Sometimes I'd ask them, like, do you like that kind of stuff? And they're like, no, not really, but I like the paycheck. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Mhm.
I've already shared to you, I love reading. I
Mhm.
love reading. Now, I don't like reading all books. You can't get me to read quite a few other things, but I'll tell you, I enjoy self-help books. I like horror books. I love, anything about fitness. You can get me reading about those type of things. That's why I'm passionate about it. So find out, first of all, before you come into this business, why are you doing it? Because if it's just for money, I'm telling you, there's so many other lucrative opportunities out there that you're going to be able to set shop up in if you like it, if it resonates with you, if it fulfills you. This fulfills me. I love this. I love being able to provide an experience for somebody somewhere in the world, be it Australia, Japan, be it over in Germany. I love to provide an experience that really gets a person to separate from their normal everyday life and gets them to, they can get absorbed in a different universe, be it, once again, nonfiction or even fiction. So that's probably, when it comes to newbie self-publishers, is before you answer the question of what niche should you publish in, first of all, why are you publishing? And then when you can finally put that down there, the niche will all of a sudden occur to you. You go, I love karate, and I'm just throwing karate out here.
Right.
I love karate. That's the niche you probably should publish in. Don't worry if it's profitable, because you will make it happen. You will make it profitable because, first of all, you like karate. Chances are you probably know 12 other people that love karate. So if you know 12 other people that love karate, you know exactly where the audience is at. And from that point, you can be able to network with these people that love karate, and they'll be able to hand those things out. And guess what? Regardless of where the rank's at, be it 500,000 the paid Kindle store or 10,000 the paid Kindle store, you've got the audience. You've got the goods. There's a problem. You've got the solution. Put it together, baby.
So that's a much different way of taking a look at things. And I understand exactly where you're coming from. Some people would argue that takes a lot more work. You might not, like, you won't see a profit as quickly.
Yep.
But I'm thinking what's the benefit is you're building a brand, something long-term, sustainable, and what I fully believe is you can take it off Amazon.
Yes. That's the key, man. You got it right on the money. Is Amazon's great. We know that it carries about 60% or more of the market share in publications today. Okay, they cover a lot of it. Okay, but the thing is, what you got to do is take Amazon's customers and make them your customers.
Right.
You need to remove that middleman. So that way, first of all, A, you have a direct relationship with your audience, and B, you can collect more.
Right.
That's the thing, man. I mean, being an independent publisher is an amazing thing. It's a great opportunity, but also remember that if there is some kind of a platform that you're distributing your stuff through, be it, any kind of publications, audiobook, paperback, Kindle, don't matter. Either way, there's a middleman. There's a middleman. If they, at some point or another, your relationship sours, you're screwed. I had a friend of mine. He actually had a KDP account banned. He got banned from it. And the thing is, it was pulling some decent money in for him. And he could not for anything get it reinstated. He even tried to reach up to the almighty Jeff Bezos, and that wasn't even going to happen. And unfortunately, he's left without his customers. Amazon got to keep those customers, but he couldn't leave with them because he didn't have it established long enough. Sadly, in my opinion, he did some practices that probably I wouldn't agree with and I wouldn't endorse.
Right. Now, what about, okay, so most people probably getting in self-publishing, yes, you're going to have two people, right? You're going to have the ones who have the idea, they want to write a book, they want to publish it themselves and whatnot. But then you're also going to have people who are really just looking at making extra income. Like I was looking at making extra money. I've always wanted to write a book. Since 2007, there's a book, it's an idea that I want to write on, but I was looking at making money first and foremost. So I went with the approach of, okay, well, I'm going to find what's selling already on Amazon, on Kindle specifically. And I'm going to take some keywords, figure out which ones are the most profitable and publish a couple books and go from there. Now, having said that, I quickly discovered that I could build a brand around said book, really any book that I decided to, because then it frustrates me when people are saying that you don't need to take it off Amazon, you don't need to build a brand, you don't have to do any of that, because there's two ways of doing it, right? There's a way of, yeah, if you want to just make some, I don't want to say it's quick and easy money, but it is quick and easy money, figuring out profitable keywords, getting books written, publishing them. That is the quick and easy way. Whereas, your way, definitely it's a little bit more challenging, but sustainable, and you're doing it for the bigger picture than the other. I don't even know what, if that makes sense, but there's two different ways of doing it.
Yeah. And
right?
both of them carry merit to it. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. And this is one of the reasons why I've enjoyed, and prior to us actually connecting here, I kind of feel to a certain extent that you are kind of this modern version of what I saw in Jason a few years ago. He will admittedly tell you he's not a writer. He's like, I'm not a writer. He enjoyed the process of hiring out that service in order to do it for him. He knows that I'm a writer. He's like, you're a writer. You love doing that. That's something
Mhm.
you enjoy. I could literally just sit in my office for 12 hours straight and write a book for you because that's something I enjoy. Both of them have their merits. Know exactly what's going to work within your wheelhouse and stick to it. So yeah, I'm telling you, if you can build a brand, but if you need quick money, yeah, you can definitely make some quick money. Um, but I mean, it's just going to be a case of finding that market. And once you find it, it's going to be really sometimes the most profitable niches you and I both know can be a fist fight. It literally
Right.
is. I mean, you try to get into that romance niche, come on, shoot. Unless you're hyper niche down, it's going to be a fist fight to get yourself into breaking at least 100,000 sometimes. I've been very fortunate that I've cracked the 10,000 rank in fiction with underneath a pen name, but you know that was after quite a few things setting it up and so on and so forth. So it's a different animal today than what it was about 2 years ago. It was so much easier. It was the gold rush, if you will.
It
And
was. Yeah.
yeah, it was like literally like you could smear poop on a piece of paper and publish it and people were buying it. I'm
And
not saying that's
that's
right.
it. Right. But so many people did that. And that's what really started giving self-publishing, specifically in Amazon, such a bad name. And,
Give it a
there's
black
still
eye.
people that kind of go with that, not that exact idea, that concept, but it's still stuck in their belief system somewhere that they can kind of get away with, things like that, where, I make sure I try to teach my students that do what you can to set yourself up the right way so you can have some more long-term success.
Yeah.
Um, and there Al, there's certain, like, I'm not going to deny it. Like, I tell my students, you need to swap a review or two to get a book off the ground. I personally haven't found a better way of doing it, like a faster way of doing it, but you only ever want to do it once. Build your email list from day one, start building a relationship with them right away, because that is your long-term success. That is the thing that's going to allow you to scale up the fastest and the safest, um, and make sure that you can connect with your customers even if something happens to to Amazon, or they make a change. You have your customers' emails, and so you can say, hey, the books are now being sold over here on this platform for a lot less, but your profits go up because
Oh
Amazon's no
yeah.
longer in the picture.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could take a 2.99 book, ebook, sell it on your platform, and you got 100% profit, as
Totally.
opposed to and I mean, shoot, if you even go as far as to say you could sell it for $2.03 and say, well, you can buy it over here on Amazon, or you can get it for 66 cents cheaper over here. And by the way, I'll kick in this bonus ebook. And the nice thing is, you can kick in these bonus ebooks and not have any issues or whatnot. Because I know that there's been some real issues with Kindle lately, with people doing bonus books that have been getting their account flagged for doing bonus books.
Really, let's talk about that. I haven't ran into. Talk about it. I don't know what you're talking about. So
Yeah. So
bring me up to
what ends
speed
up
with this.
happening, and this is something I was discussing with the Kindle publishing loopholes, and you and I can probably talk about all the ones that exist, but the primary one is this: is there are certain people out there with less than good intentions.
Hmm.
What they do is they'll take one book and then they'll stuff the entire book full of bonus reads, which essentially they're bonus reads people can buy elsewhere. So they'll take like an entire catalog books. Why are they doing this? You're going to go, what? That makes no damn sense.
Hmm.
Well, sure. But if they have it on KDP Select, if all the pages are
Hmm.
flipped through, they are paid per page. You
Right.
could take a 50-page book, but if you throw in about 5 to 6 bonus books, you've all of a sudden added your thing up to nearly 1,000 pages.
Right.
1,000 pages flipped through, coming about a half cent per page, is going to come out to $5 as opposed to the $2.99 or $2.03 that we'd probably profit from that. So that little technique kind of worked. Some people were putting hyperlinks at the beginning that would send them
Hmm.
to the end. But That, unfortunately, that technique was kind of flushed out
Yeah.
and no longer around. There were lots of accounts banned, and some people got suspended. I went into that a lot on my channel. Well,
Mhm.
people continue to stuff their books, and Amazon's kind of catching on, and they're going, no, 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 stop it. They're pretty much stopping some of these people. They're flagging their accounts. They're pretty much putting it into draft mode and letting them know, you already have this published over here. You can't do that. Now, to clarify,
Mhm.
they're okay with you putting sample chapters in, but it appears like they're kind of saying anymore, you've got one book, you can't put a bunch of bonus reads. Now,
Right.
with that being said, it's going to kind of confuse some people when I say this. You can put out a collection or a bundle. I've had numerous bundles for my fitness books,
Mhm.
and they do quite successfully, but I never ever say bonus reads. And it's not like you're going to see a ton of these collections all the way across, with bonus reads and flips. And on top of that, I don't even use KDP Select in any of my fitness books anymore because, quite frankly, I've seen way better results by taking them off of KDP Select and putting them out over onto Kindle publishing alternatives. People like Smashwords, Draft the Digital, and Pronoun, one of my favorites lately.
Let's just dive into that. Let's kind of go in
Yeah.
that direction. Tell me. So right now I got, yep, all my books on KDP Select. I just honestly haven't bothered to look into other options as
Yeah.
just for what I wanted to use Kindle for was to replace my 9 to 5 slave job basically, and I just wasn't passionate about publishing on other platforms, but I know it's a question people have, so go for it.
Yeah, this is really good question. So what it comes down to is with KDP Select, I'm starting to get my pointer pen, my pointer pen. And we got to emphasize, if you ever see this in the video, that means I mean business, baby, business. And take off my glasses as well. So here's the deal. KDP Select, you and I can both agree,
Mhm,
is great. Okay,
mhm,
it is awesome. But you're only paid half cent per page flipped. It used to be an awesome system that if you got 10% of your book flipped through, you got a nice royalty on it. Well, not so much anymore. You can go ahead and point it at all those scammers for ruining it for everybody. So you're paid about half cent or less per flip, which it just makes up to, if you've got, let's say, a 100-page book, which, most of my fitness books range about 100 to 200 pages. So that ain't much for me. That doesn't add up at all. It doesn't make
mhm.
it worth it. Sure, you get paid if somebody buys your book
Right.
and it increases your rank. By increasing your rank, you increase your discoverability through the Amazon algorithm, through the search engine, if you will.
Mhm.
KDP Select does that too. So if somebody flips through your book, that influences rank and it pushes you up to the top. That's another nice little benefit of KDP Select. But my problem is ranking don't pay the bills.
Right.
Okay? Ranking don't pay the bills. And quite frankly, I'm at a comfortable position now that I started looking at my KDP Select, the pages flipped, how much I was earning. I'm like looking at this and I'm going, I paid 30 cents for this freaking book for the month. Are you kidding me? I'm like, and people are just borrowing it. I'm like, if they're just going to borrow it, I can always put it through Kindle Publishing Alternatives and get full retail value. Here's the beauty of it too. Through some of these Kindle Publishing Alternatives, you actually can be put into a library subscriber-based program that you're still going to be paid more than what KDP Select gives you. Things like Overdrive, phenomenal. By the way, I have Overdrive app on my phone, and I actually borrow some books with my library card. I love that option, by the way. And you're getting paid more through the Overdrive than what you would be through KDP Select. So that's why I looked at other options. Smashwords was first. Let me go ahead and just be frank with you. Smashwords is a bitch to format properly. They are so strenuous on how you format it. They have a very strict auto vetting process that if you don't get it spot on, they will reject your book to premium distribution. Premium distribution includes the big guys, Apple, Barnes and Noble, and Kobo. Everything else that follows underneath that, it's like they have 20 other distributors, but
Is this ebook or paperbacks?
this is just ebooks. This is just ebooks. So just for the sake of this particular conversation,
Okay.
just ebooks. Um, So love me some smash words. I got a great majority of my books off KDP Select. Now it's important that if you got viewers watching this or listening to this, whatever it might be,
Uh-huh.
um, if you have your book enrolled in KDP Select and you're interested in taking it over onto other platforms, make sure, first of all, you take it off of KDP Select, okay? Unenroll it, okay? Let it finish out whatever 90 days it's on. Don't, because if you go and ask, hey, I need you to remove this, you will lose and forfeit all earnings for that 90-day period. So you might as well just finish out whatever 90-day period you have. When it is up, just set a little timer for yourself to know, okay, September 9th, I need to take my book on dog grooming over onto other platforms because it officially expires its KDP Select period during that time.
Mhm.
And then you'll just go over to other distributors. Smashwords is great because they have the wider distribution. It's just a real bitch to go ahead and get the formatting done according to their standards. Now, this is where I get excited. Drafted Digital and Pronoun Publishing, okay? They don't have as wide a distribution, but their auto formatting software, I gotta tell you, Emeka, it is beautiful. They make interiors pop. I mean, they look beautiful. I'm amazed. And so much so that I have to download all of my stuff from Pronoun because I love their ebooks. They just look beautiful. They're gorgeous. Here's the really cool thing. Let me start with Drafted Digital. Drafted Digital has essentially almost this all the big dogs that Smashword has,
Okay.
being Apple, Barnes and Noble, Kobo. Okay, and they got a few other little things there. Love me some Drafted Digital. Their formatting's great. They make it super simple. So if you're a newbie self-publisher, Drafted Digital is for you. Pronoun Publishing as well. Here's the kicker. You ready for this? Pronoun Publishing has Kindle. That's right. I didn't stutter on that one. So any newbie self-publisher that's brand new to this and say to themselves, well, I'm not interested in KDP Select. They just want to go and put their thing on Kindle. They want to put it on Apple. They want to put it on Barnes & Noble. They want to put it on Kobo. Pronoun is the place. Pronoun Publishing, you're going to love this, man. I don't know if you realize about Pronoun Publishing. Their royalty rates beat KDP. That's right. They beat KDP.
What?
Yeah, you're good. You're
And they
like,
put it on Kindle?
and they put it on Kindle. Okay, so here's why they beat them. You ready for this? This is the crazy thing.
Should we be sharing this info, or should I like
should we pause this?
Yeah, should I cut this out?
It is immediately available, and on top of that, so it may not be appropriate for everybody. So here's what makes them different. Okay, it is a 70% royalty. As you know, between 70%, you have to have $2.99 and $9.99 on KDP. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
fact. Here's the cool thing. You drop below on KDP down to like say 99 cents, the lowest you can go on Amazon KDP without doing a price match.
Right.
And that's another story for another day. But let's say you do a 99 cents on your book. You get 35% on KDP.
Right.
Not true on Pronoun. You do get the full 70%.
Really?
You're like, what?
Man.
Okay, I could be off. If you got any viewers that are saying that like, hey, you need to back check this stuff, I'm telling you, go over to FAQs over on Pronoun Publishing, check them out. They don't endorse me, neither does Drafted Digital or Smashwords.
Okay.
This is just my experience. I love Pronoun for many, many reasons. I actually have a full series of videos on Pronoun and all of their things, even down to like I have an unlisted video. It's a little bonus Easter egg. Not too many people have noticed how to format your book properly for Pronoun. But it is exemplary. Now, there are some exceptions to the rule. So obviously, they're going to honor higher royalties based on US and UK purchases. The royalties, when you go outside of that, that's when it kind of, it's like availability over in Japan is like a 35% royalty. Boo. But if you're dealing with primarily the westernized area, North America in general, this is going to really benefit you greatly. So Pronouns just is stellar. Now, let's go ahead and let's get this out of the way. Okay. You might have some viewers that might have had their KDP account suspended or even terminated. That means they can't have another KDP account. Sure, they can go get another masked IP address and then start up a brand new account and do a bunch of black hat tactics. So remember that friend I told you about having his KDP account banned? Here's the cool thing. He went ahead, he said, all right, that's it. Give up. I give up.
Okay.
I come to find out about Pronoun Publishing. He had scores of books he had yet to publish. He moved over to Pronoun. he's making more money through Pronoun than what he ever did with KDP.
Could he take his books that were on KDP that with the account that got banned and put them onto Pronoun as well?
He said he actually made more money with some of them. Now, the ones that originally got him flagged, okay, he actually didn't put those back up. And I'm just going to
Right.
say this, they were very adult-oriented books.
Okay, gotcha. No, that makes
Just,
sense. And Pronoun is the one that sells it on Kindle as well?
yep, they do. Let's see here. Just right off the top of my head, I do know they do Kindle, or they do Amazon. They do Barnes and Noble. They do Apple, and they do Kobo. And there's a few others. I'm just forgetting off the top of my head. Two of them
Yeah.
are subscription-based services.
So is there, so how would, if there's a book on Pronoun, and do they do paperback as well, print on demand?
No, they
No.
don't.
Okay.
No, they
So
don't.
if the book's on Pronoun, a customer who's on Amazon, would they, so they, okay, say meditation, so they type in meditation on Amazon. How do they buy your book from Pronoun that's on the Kindle? Like, I'm just trying to connect it all.
It will be available on Amazon. So you actually will have a product page on Amazon, that Pronoun, and Pronoun will be listed as the publisher, since of course they provide the
Well,
ISBN.
so, okay, for the untrained eye, for the customer, it doesn't look any different than any of our other books.
Nope, not at all.
Is it just basically like when it says it's shipped by FBA, Amazon FBA, or shipped by merchant, whatever? Only people, myself, my wife, kind of pays attention to stuff like that. But nobody, like, I never noticed that beforehand.
Yep.
I just like product on Amazon. Oh, it's on Amazon. Click buy. Like, I
Yeah,
didn't
you don't
care
think
who was
about
shipping
that.
it.
Yeah.
So is that
So
what we're saying? Same.
with Pronoun's strictly just ebook distribution for right
Right.
now. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you go down to the product details, here's a little bit of a recon. Anybody ever wants to kind of pay attention, go down to the product details. It's going to tell you a lot. Okay, it's going to tell you about your page count. It's going to tell you the
Right. Yeah.
size of the book, because sometimes some people are like, does this have images in it, and they don't want to
Right.
purchase it. Look at the
Mhm.
size. Okay, bet you if you go look over my fitness books, you're going to
Mhm.
see some big freaking files. Yeah. So there's a good reason why I charge a little bit more on mine. So with Pronoun, you actually in Amazon, you'll see Pronoun's actually listed, and I think if I remember straight, Macmillan is actually the larger name over Pronoun, which Macmillan Publishing is a bigger name. They've done textbooks, big publishing books, a large publishing house. So how does this benefit them? Not really sure. We can shoot conspiracy theories all we want to at this point, but for the most part, that's where you'll be able to find the information. Is it'll say published by. So think about when you put paperbacks up, it'll say Create Space Publishing Incorporated.
Right.
Is what the name of it is.
Huh.
Blown your boom.
Like, I just,
Hey, you look at this. There's a
yeah.
good reason why I'm
Oh,
wearing this, man. I am
gee,
a
you
full-blown nerd
earned
on
that
this stuff.
title.
I did, yeah. It's like
Damn.
literally, I was gonna get it tattooed on, and then my wife was like, "That's gross," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, no, we won't do that."
Okay. Pronoun publish. How do people find out? I'll put a link in the description.
Pronoun.com. And
Pronoun.com. All
and
right.
of course, shoot them on over to my channel and plug. I got a full series on Pronoun and
Okay,
the
I'm gonna.
pros and cons. I'm not going to tell you everybody it's all sunshines and rainbows over there at Pronoun. It's
Okay.
really, it's going to be some limitations. And I think one of them that I just really wish they would tweak is I actually produce some children's books as well. I
Mhm.
won't ever be able to put them over there because I don't know how. Like they auto format things, but the thing is how I formatted my children's books
Yeah.
is into an EPUB document that's already formatted. So
So they do the. Can you switch off the auto formatting? Like, I have some books that are, there's some pictures in them, and for different areas and stuff. Will
they
they
have
just
some
mess up the
pointers.
formatting and everything
They have
for it?
some. I've noticed it'll keep the pictures where it needs to be. So wherever you have it set inside your document, it'll keep it there.
Okay.
But let's say, for instance, you have like a text wrap of some sort. I don't know if you follow what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, like a text box almost, or
Yeah, unfortunately, it'll kind of remove some of that formatting. There is a small tutorial within their FAQs
uh-huh.
about that. I just skipped that step. I went through and I just formatted it accordingly, so that way it was a little bit more
Ah,
pleasing to the eye. And see, I do graphic heavy books with my exercise books because obviously I need to have
yeah.
exercise demonstrations.
Yeah, I've noticed that even with, I had one book, um, and then I had another writer upgrade it, and she did some different things. And when I uploaded it, Kindle just completely destroyed the formatting, and I'd never
Oh
seen it
yeah.
happen before. But then what I learned was she had used some text boxes in things. So I had to have my wife go through it, and she had to actually, I can't remember what she did, but she like had to make it like the image in the text box one complete image, and then take that and put it on to the thing. And it was just a pain. Um, so there, I know there's ways around things, but it just might take a higher skill level than it's a higher skill level than I had.
Yeah, I know
But
exactly what your person was shooting for in formatting, and actually it was a bit of an issue. And feel free, anybody wants to, you can always just look at a sample of the 90-day home workout plan over on Amazon. Peek at that. It actually is a text box, and it actually is specifically like a spreadsheet type cell. What ends up happening is you have one cell right here that has my picture, and you got another cell right here that has the font.
mhm,
Or the text, and the text is right here, and it's got like a nice little header bar over top of it. I made it really pretty. What I wanted to is get it locked in, so it
mhm,
went into formatting. But the problem is you actually have to have the dimensions as specific setting. Otherwise, across all the devices, it's going to look all wonky. I recall off the top of my head, it was like might have been 5 inches by 6 inches. You couldn't really go beyond that point. Otherwise, it'd be unreadable in certain devices. So
mm.
that's where earning that little title right
Yeah.
there. Many nights where I would stay up like cursing at my computer and crying my
Mhm.
eyes out because I'm like, why won't you look right?
So frustrating, right?
It is. It
So
is.
that,
I feel for your wife. In fact, tell her I will cover therapy for a
yeah.
week. For that. No, no. Actually, I won't do that.
That's
She'd take me up on it. She'd be like, "I'll take that therapy. Thank
yeah,
you."
for sure. Especially dealing with me some days, Jeez. That's awesome, man. I'm gonna look into that for some of my books, and maybe take some off KDP Select, and just try them on some other platforms. What
Yeah.
no, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Lot of really good stuff, man. I'm throwing you some 401. You weren't expecting that today, were you? See,
No,
there's a
man.
good reason why I
No.
have daily uploads because I this is a never-ending fountain of information. It's not me being boastful, but this business is a lot larger than some people would think. So you're only scratching the surface when you go, okay, what niche do I want to get into? Uh,
Totally.
yeah, Jason and I had this conversation. He doesn't believe that I can continue to publish books, or excuse me, publish videos about publishing over and over. He's just like, you're going to run out of content. I'm like, no, it's
No.
always updating. It's always coming up with new
There's it's
information.
it totally, and I'd say 90% of you type in Kindle publishing in YouTube, 90% of the videos that you're going to look at, outdated.
Yes,
So much
it's
is
so
outdated
far
because
behind.
so much has changed in the last 2 years, right? So you're going to get outdated tactics, you're going to get outdated info. But those are the videos, right? Until mine and yours, I believe or YouTube wants the whole year of constantly publishing videos before they
Yep.
really start favoring your channel. Um, so it's going to take people like myself and you publishing new content that's relevant to start burying, for lack of for Triple H reference there, burying the
Good reference.
right the people that were relevant a number of years ago, right? And
Yeah.
no disrespect to them, they helped
No, no,
pave
not
the
at all.
way and everything, but um, you stop publishing books, you stop becoming relevant. You can no longer teach people how to do this because Kindle publishing is not an evergreen. No matter what
Nope.
anyone tries to sell you, it ain't evergreen. It's
Yep.
the internet, always evolving, always changing. The only thing that is evergreen on the internet, it's available to pretty much anybody who has a connection to it, but it's always going to be changing. So what we're today's interview might be completely irrelevant August 10th 2018. um,
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
right,
We're gonna
so
have to meet up in another year, dude. Screw it.
yeah, and we'll be like, remember when we were talking about that thing on Amazon, and it'll be so that's why I always try to tell people, and I don't want it to come across like just watch me, I'm the most relevant person there is. Absolutely not. But if you're watching a video that's dated 2 years ago, take everything that the person is saying with a grain of salt because so
Yeah.
much has changed, right? Looking at the bestsellers list for niche ideas was very helpful 2, 3, 4 years ago when competition was, was nothing.
Yeah, you could
Trying
just
to do
fire it
that
off.
now and publish a book on meditation or on green smoothies
Oh yeah.
or on dog training or on yoga poses, you're not going to be successful in Kindle publishing because you cannot compete with those other books on the bestsellers list,
So true.
right?
Yeah.
So,
It's so true. And if there was one thing I would recommend to anybody watching this, regardless of this being 2017 right now, or
mhm.
this is 2019, what I would recommend, this is a small hack that I do, and it goes into Google and it works in YouTube, is if you're searching for something, include 2017 at the very end of it. In fact, anybody that actually has any kind of software, you can actually go in and see some of my tags in YouTube includes 2017, because I want people that are looking for my videos this year to find the stuff from this year.
Yeah.
Because if somebody's looking for, let's say, for instance, finding a good niche,
Mhm.
they might find something that was 2 years ago. And as you say, it's just not evergreen. It's not
Right.
going to work.
Mhm.
I want people to see how you find it today,
Right.
how you can find it according to when you are searching it up. It's so sad to say that there's numerous books out there. I know there was one guy bragging about unpublishing and republishing his books. And you lost your stuff over, here we go. I love, we were talking
Mm,
about this before we even
yeah.
went on the air. You were very passionate about people that don't put back covers on there. And dude, I felt you on that. I love that video. It was one of my favorites. And I was like, you know what, Emeka, you're on. I'm going to put my answer
Mhm.
to what bothers me. And it's when people take the same book, and when it dies and withers on the vine, it stops making the money after 30 days, they unpublish it and then they republish it again because they're trying to game the system.
Right. Like you're just, no, your book sucks. Sorry, you didn't rank
Yeah,
it properly. Your
it's
cover sucks.
it
It's not
sucks.
keyword optimized. Your description probably sucks. Everything sucks.
Yes, yes,
Publish
and
better
that's
books.
and some people are completely oblivious. They think this is okay, but you're
Right.
you're you're fleecing the Amazon marketplace and the customers of their money, continually firing off the same stinking book that they didn't want in the first place. Stop trying to hawk us your crap wares.
Yeah. Like we were talking, it's anybody who like we were talking about this, right? When we said the blank book, blank cover, right? If I
Yes.
order a book on Amazon, like you're ordering something online and I order it and it shows up at my house and I look at it and your back cover sucks or the book's just not quality, I am never buying a book from you again. And that is the same as going to a restaurant that serves you crappy food or crappy service, or as you said, dirty cutlery. You're never, ever, ever going to go back to that restaurant. And me, I pride myself on my customers buying and rebuying my books, right? Because I email them and they ask me when next ones are coming out. And once I took too long and I had somebody email me, it's like, when's your next book coming? You know, and yeah, and so it's they are looking, like I just published a book 2 days ago. I only published it on CreateSpace because I don't want it published on Amazon or on Kindle yet because I'm still doing some work. So I published it just because I needed to buy copies for myself. And literally a few hours later, it was like 4 or 5 hours later, somebody messaged me on my Facebook page for that book, for that pen name, and said, "Hey, I just saw your new book up. Is there an ebook version of it yet?" And I'm like, "Man, I haven't even told anybody about this." And you found it, like, right? So, like, you want people actively looking for your stuff. So when new stuff comes out, they're ready to pounce on it and buy it. But cutting corners on quality and things like that, it's just
Yeah,
eventually it's going to bite you in the butt. And
it will. You want to create a product that somebody feels so staunchly in favor of
mhm,
that they will not only just like let somebody borrow it because they love it so much, like, I'm not going to let you borrow my copy, but I'll buy you a copy.
right,
That's the kind of reader you need. You need to create such an experience that they're a raving fan and they won't part ways with their one copy
yeah,
because they're afraid they're not going to get it back. And they're
right,
like, you know what, how about I just
yeah,
buy you one, or I'll send you
mhm,
on over here, or
totally,
whatnot. So you want to actually create such an impressionable experience for your reader that they don't just refer, they will buy out for you.
And you know, it goes to getting organic reviews. What's the best way to get organic reviews? Have a book that moves somebody to leave an organic review. I ask multiple times in the books for them, but like I just make sure, like that's why I like for some of my books, I format the books myself. I just actually hired a project. I don't have a title for him. I just hired somebody who's going to be looking at, and he's going to do the final formatting and everything. But what happens is when I get it back, I go through it with a, what's that saying, like a to like a
Fine
fine
tooth
pick
comb.
comb or something like that, right?
Yeah,
I don't really do combs, right?
yeah.
Right. So, um, but you know, I go through it because I'm so meticulous with I just want it a certain way, and that pays off because you know I don't look at reviews anymore. Like I just, you know, once the book's up there and I've done the initial stuff, I just don't have time nor really care. But you know, I'll go back every few weeks or sometimes like a month later and like look at some of the reviews, and I'll read the reviews. And you know, it was just like this last review, man, I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna read what I can without giving away too much, because it just
Yeah.
shows you that.
Yeah, people really do pay very, very close attention. And I can't tell you, there's been some times where I felt some of my stuff I was on lockdown. Got a 2-star review on the stretch workout plan. And thankfully, there's many people that felt disagreed with this particular person, but they said the images were too small and they were too grainy. And I'm like,
Right,
grainy? That's 300 DPI. How big do you need to have it? I need to have a book this large?
right.
You need some readers, buddy.
So you check out this. This was a 5-star review left on a book I published way back last year, and this was a 5-star review by Aaron 16 days ago. It says this book is very well structured and easy to use. It has some very useful tips which have enhanced blank. Can't, you know, obviously I'm not going to share that.
Right.
You know, an experience at such an affordable price. Hold on, I'm just going to click read more. Oops, where is
That's a good review.
yeah,
Click read more.
yeah, the right, the author puts great work into his books. I'm really looking forward to his next one.
That's tremendous. That's
Right, and that's
really,
paperback. That book sells for $21. Single book, 60 pages.
oh, tremendous. Yeah. And see, that's what I
Right?
get asked a lot. Some people are like, what should I do my pricing at? I'm like, what's the value you're providing?
Bingo, right?
Yeah.
You know, it yeah, and that's just, love reading that because it's quality. I know I'm putting out quality. They responded. And of course, I got some BS 1-star reviews where you're not going to make everyone happy,
No.
you know. But it's, as long as, if like when you're doing a how-to book, where most nonfiction, right? That's a how-to book. Most nonfiction books are going to be how-to books.
Yeah.
Your how-to needs to be better than everyone else's. But then also another tip or trick that I learned was, when you get your book back from your writers, right? Format it differently. Like I've been playing around with that a little bit more. I've been formatting the book a bit differently. It takes me a bit of time. I'll probably eventually just hire somebody to do all that for me, but I formatted a bit differently so it looks different than all the other books on there. But then when people are clicking on the look inside feature,
Yeah.
they don't just see text. They see like 2 columns of something, right, with a heading. Or I just make it a little different, because then they're like, oh, wait a minute, that catches my eye. This book's different than the millions and millions of books on Amazon.
A quick question here, and I'm going to ask you, and of course, I'm not trying to feed you a particular answer on this one. Think about it as a person who's reading a nonfiction book.
Hmm.
What is the very first thing that you do when you get a book?
Okay, let me just think. Okay, I got some books when I came to Vancouver. Smell them. I love the smell of a new book.
Smell. Unfortunately, I have no sense of smell. So here's the very first thing
you
people do.
know, you
Watch.
know,
And you being a
yeah, and
wrestling fan, you've probably read wrestling books. What's the very first thing you do? You open it to the middle to look for the pictures,
yeah,
right?
yeah. You flip
And
through it to
so
see what.
that is something that right there, I think a lot of people that are producing nonfiction these days and looking for that quick fix, unfortunately forgetting that people love pictures.
Yeah,
People love pictures. It's so important. If you got a nonfiction book, try to find relevant images
mhm,
related to the topic that you're sharing because it breaks it up and it's not such a wall of text with inside your book.
totally,
There are some
totally.
exceptions to the rule. You might not
Yeah,
be able to kind of get away with some, make sure you got the rights, yada,
yeah,
yada, whatever, but just try to, if you can, establish yourself differently from everybody else. I'm going to tell you
right.
this. There are a number of authors, fitness authors that are doing better than me. And it shocks me sometimes because they have no images. I'm like, what the hell is this? I have to just use my imagination?
And you
Can I
know,
call LeVar Burton so he can help me on the Reading Rainbow on this one? Huh?
right. And it's when and some people might be wondering, it's like, well, they're new, but here, like when you get your book and you publish it, have it, publish it and let it start making some money. And then once that book is profited, right? Because everyone should be tracking their books and know which ones are profited and haven't. And, once it's profited, then don't be afraid. That's when you add in the pictures, you change up the formatting, and that's version 2.0, right? Because now you know that it's working and people are buying it, but now you can make it better, right? Just reinvest in the profits in it to make it better. Now you can charge more for it. And, it's a rumor because nobody knows anything really about Amazon. But I've heard that when you're doing that, Amazon does favor it. It notices when you're making your books better and you're doing version 2 and you've added stuff to it, they know that and they will actually start giving that book another artificial boost.
Yes, actually, and I will agree with you. I can't be able to say that this is certain. They're obviously, Amazon is always as
Yeah.
ambiguous as ever. But I have noticed, and see, this is what I do is, I've got a large catalog of books in the hundreds, and that's not just underneath the Dale Roberts name. All right. So what I try to do is every 30 to 90 days, I go in and I check out a book.
Hmm.
I'll look and I'll see what the interior looks like just to kind of remind myself, pick out any kind of outward errors that I might have missed before. I change out the keywords because keywords, the value of a keyword changes
Hmm.
from one day to the next. So you
Right.
can imagine what 90 days out looks like. Keyword will probably be dead by that time. You change those keywords out, it's going to be amazing. Here's a great example. One of my perma-free books actually, for some reason, launched into the stratosphere right as soon as I changed the interior and I changed the keyword metadata. As soon as I changed those 7 keyword slots, I'm telling you, I went from 30, 40 downloads per day to hundreds per day. Hundreds.
Really, huh?
And the nice thing is with the perma-free book, as you know, the whole purpose to do a free ebook is to build a larger following, enhance and grow the brand, and as well, people go and buy the paperback and they buy the audiobook version. So what's up?
No. Do you want to say hi? Little daughter, just running
Oh, okay.
around. It's I'm down in Mexico most of the time, but I'm up here in Canada, and so we're all in a small apartment right now. Whereas down there, normally I got the house to myself during the day to do the interviews and everything. But hey, family life is family life, right?
Yeah,
You know,
that's the beauty of this lifestyle, man, is be able to be around your family. And that's one of the things that really speaks to my purpose is why I do this is so I can be able to spend time with my wife
right?
and not have to feel like I'm going to clock in and clock out. So kudos to you, man. That's so awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, let me take a look at that list that we were going through, and but I think we're hammering some great topics, man. This is
Yeah,
fantastic here.
you end up featuring all this inside your channel. People are going to be going,
Yeah, this is awesome. Hey, let's talk about scaling up. Let's here's my experience: is you're scaling up, things get confusing, and you need systems. because I remember the first time I tried launching 6 books at once. I had no idea where the books were, where it was just, it was a freaking disaster. And in fact, I've never launched that many books at once again because I just can't, it's too much going on for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Speaking about scaling, sometimes people wonder. Well, first of all, scaling means to, of course, take a system in place and then duplicate it multiple times.
Hmm.
So, for instance, when I referenced earlier inside our interview here is the 90-day home workout plans. Jason said, scale that idea. He wanted me to build on it and build that platform out larger on that one particular brand.
Hmm.
Now, when you're looking at 6 different brands, woo wee! I literally like I singed my eyebrows off one time when I did it. I think one of my records was probably nearly a dozen in a day, and it was too much. It was just
Right.
way too much. I wanted to jump off like a very high building.
Yeah.
It is really, really tough. So you actually need to start looking into hiring out at that particular point. If you're scaling, that means you've found a proof of concept. In other words, you've proven that it actually can earn money. Because if you aren't proving that it earns money, you should not be scaling it. Don't scale it. That's one of the worst things. It's like showing up to a craps table and throwing your money down on it and go, I don't know, put it on one of those numbers. You know,
Right. Yeah.
you got to always make sure you got proof of concept and then scale and then start to build out and grow it. But then you got to start to consider, okay, I need help.
Hmm.
And I try to tell people, and this is a great metric. Hopefully you agree, you can disagree, either way you shake it. You shouldn't start hiring out until you break your first $1,000 per month.
Hmm.
Okay. Break your first $1,000 per month. And I'm talking within one platform being like ebook, be it paperback, be it
Uh,
audiobook. Wait for that $1,000. The reason is you need to see, first of all, first you need to be paying yourself.
hmm.
Second of all, you shouldn't be keeping all the money to yourself. It's a business. You need to take that money, a great majority of that, and invest it back into the business. My general rule of thumb is I take 10% of that and put it towards hiring out people. So if you're making $100 per month and you're like, I need to hire out because Dale said I take 10%. So that means $10. If you can do $10, go for it. But for the most part, I try to tell people if you're going to hire out, break the $1,000 per month mark and consistently do it. Don't think at quarter 4 that you're going to be able to do the same earnings going into
Right.
quarter 1, late in quarter 1 or quarter 2. Right now it's downtime. So don't be surprised if your book sales are a little lower than usual.
Hmm.
But that's where scaling comes in the process is you got to hire out. Don't try to do it yourself because I'm going to tell you this right now, you will burn out very fast. I did it. I literally did. And that's why majority of the things I publish these days, I write myself because I just was like, oh gosh, and I didn't hire out and I was being dumb about it and I was losing sleep. I was drinking a lot of caffeine. I was becoming jittery. I was becoming very not so nice to be around.
Right.
So yeah, you just got to be very, very selective. I don't know what your thoughts are on
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, man. When I first started, I told myself I was going to do everything myself. Like I did formatting myself. The only thing I didn't do was writing because just yeah, and
that. Just yeah.
yeah, and cover design because well, I could get my 2-year-old to make a cover and it turned out better than one I designed. So those two things I outsourced because yeah, but I did everything else myself,
Yeah.
and I'm a firm believer that you have to do that to learn the process, and I only started outsourcing. I only started outsourcing my formatting yeah, late spring,
Oh wow.
right? It was, and it just got to the point where it's like, all right, now I got some other things I'm juggling as well. Yeah, and I was earning some money. It's like, yeah, I can outsource the formatting now. And then the next thing was, okay, no longer do I want to put all my books up on, I don't want to publish them all. I'll have somebody put them all up on the platforms for me. And, but I was making a couple grand a month before I did that.
That's good, and that was good of you to start to do that. I was an idiot, for lack of better terms, where I was making a couple $100 per month. Yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
$200 per month. Yeah,
Wow.
when I was making $200 per month, I was spending more than that to hire out VAs because I was told that's what you do. It was
Yeah.
like you got to scale. You're hearing from all these gurus that say
Mhm.
you got to hire out, and I'm like, oh, okay, well that's what people do, right?
Right.
Wrong. I was getting way less money than I was paying my VAs, which was
Yeah.
just it was just stupid. That was a dumb idea. I had in my first year, I was literally functioning in the red the entire year. My CPA looked at me and was just like, "You guys are poor."
Right. Yeah, but it's not really all your fault. Like so many, and that's one of the reasons I started my channel was because when I started, I saw so many holes in the people I was following that they held back information, or they didn't do this because they wanted you to buy this
Oh
and
yes, the
everything.
upsells.
And I just got so like, and hey, don't get me wrong, upsells, I understand the concept, the reasoning and everything, but you know it's self-publishing has had such an impact on my life that I wanted to make sure I could share that and help other people. Like my goal of this year is to help 1,000 people make their first $1,000 online through Kindle publishing. Like that's one of my main missions. That's why I put all the content out that I do. That's why I'm working on some of the other things that I'll be releasing over the next little bit. That I just want to help people, because once you make that first thousand, so much changes. But I try to do it in a way where it's like I'm not holding back any secrets. I'm not like, even people who've messaged me, they ask me stuff, it's the hardest thing for me was when I came out with my course. The hardest thing for me was to not be able to answer specific questions that people now would pay to get inside the course. But then having said that, one of the guys who signed up maybe 3 4 weeks ago,
Mhm.
based off, I think I put this on my Facebook thing, based off of just my videos alone, he published his first book and hit a bestsellers based off just my YouTube videos.
That's tremendous.
And then he's like, I'm making a few $100s now, I'll buy your course, even though I've had all the success with just your free content. And that's what I want to be able to provide to people.
Yeah,
Whereas of course, I'm sure you'll agree, the advantage to taking a course is it just speeds it all up for you, because it's
it
all
definitely
step by
does.
step. Here's exactly what to do, when and how. um and then you may or may not know, I started doing like a monthly group membership with anyone who wants to sign up and you know pay for it.
Yeah,
They have to be members of the blueprint first. But the reason I did that, and as I've been doing it, I realize why I charge what I charge, and it's only 197 a month, but because of my time,
absolutely.
right?
It's invaluable, and you're
Right.
bringing an expertise that otherwise people can't get. An updated expertise. That's the most important thing, is getting
Yes.
something that is today, that's modern, this moment. It's
Relevant.
accurate.
Totally.
And yeah, you can buy all the courses, you can get all the videos you can. I'm gonna tell you, one of the best things you can get is coaching. Get coaching
Yes.
from somebody who is an expert. I'm telling you this right now. A lot of people like poop themselves when I tell them my hourly rate. I'm like, hey, look, this business is not for everybody. If you don't want my stuff, that's okay. I'm not going to sit here and haggle down, because I'm not going to be like a prostitute on the corner. I'm not sitting here giving some information that I've really brought together and concentrated down, and I can provide you within an hour. So
You're you're absolutely right, man. Coaching has, like, for me, like, coaching completely revolutionized and changed what my 2017 was all about. If it wasn't for coaching, it's we would not be doing this interview, right? Because I wouldn't have been able to grow the channel. It's just mentorship and coaching is just that's something you just need to go spend money on. You bite the bullet, you spend money, you eat the Roman noodles, and or I think Dave Ramsey calls it like rice and beans. Like, you do that and you buy coaching,
yes,
because what you will learn from that is going to help you so much more than you actually realize right now.
Yep.
And plus you just take it seriously because you're paying for it,
Oh yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. Trust
Like
me. When you're paying $200 per hour, you will take every last bit of that advice and do it.
totally, right?
Mhm.
It's just so much changes your mentality and everything when you're paying for it. So it's
It does. And I got to tell you, and hopefully I can share this with you and anybody else that you might be sharing this
mhm,
with, is it is important to learn. Please understand, learning is just vital to your growth. But the greatest way to learn is to do. Action is the greatest.
yes, totally,
Massive freaking action solves everything. And
yeah,
if you fail, guess what? Failure is a great lesson as long as you just take a step back, look at it. What do I need to do to improve so I can become successful at it? So, yeah, coaching is great. But I can't tell you how many times I've seen some people that have taken coaching like, oh, this doesn't work. Well,
right.
did you try doing it? Yeah, kind of. I'm
Well,
like, okay,
yeah, kind of gets you, yeah, kind of results,
yeah, it gets you
right?
kind of
Like
results and it gets you kind of like not doing anything. And so
yeah,
that's the thing is, and it's in all walks of the businesses.
totally.
And it's something I even kind of expressed where a huge fan of Frank Kern. He's an internet marketer,
Mhm.
guy's wildly successful, love his stuff. And one of the things he states is, this is my success. It is not typical. Why is it not typical? Because people are given action plans and they don't follow through. He's like, just gonna say it right now. He's like, and
Mhm.
you're not me, I'm not you. I'll give you what worked for me, and hopefully it works for you.
Right.
And so that's the same thing. It just goes across the board in any walk of life, and it especially goes into this business of publishing. So if anybody's ever bought coaching from Mecca or they got some coaching from me at some point or another, and you're not successful, that's on you. That's on you.
Totally. Right. You I'm going to be putting up on my when I get back to Mexico, my home there. It's going to say success is my obligation, my responsibility, and my purpose.
I
It's a
like
Grant
that.
Cardone quote,
Nice.
and
Well, Grant Cardone's awesome.
I've been loving his stuff.
I got to say it with a Texan accent though. Grant Cardone's the best.
And that is just so true because if with anything, if you fail at something and other people are succeeding, it's not that it didn't work. You just didn't do it properly, or and I see this with my current students. They make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And I'm like to the point where I'll rewatch one of my video lessons because I'm like, did I screw it up? Like,
Did I say
you know,
something
did I
wrong?
did I
Did I
just
communicate that
totally
wrong?
blob on that video? And I watch it, I'm like, no, that makes sense. And I'll ask my wife, and she's like, no, yeah, I understand how to do that. And she does not know publishing, right? Then, like, I might even start getting my 2-year-old daughter to start watching it and say, sweetie, does this make sense? Right? You understand what daddy's? It's like
Wow.
they asked me, it's just I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, but then here's where a lot of the mishaps is. You get information from so many different sources.
Yeah.
You're always learning, you're never doing, right? So they're just people are just always trying to look at all this different stuff. And it's just when I got into publishing, you know what I did? And I followed this one course. And while I was following that course, you know how many other YouTube videos on other people I was watching? Zero. I watched one guy
Cool.
so I could learn to do it his way, and that's it. I didn't want distractions from anybody else. I didn't want anybody else's info tainting my mind. I was bought into this one guy. I followed his methods, albeit I started figuring things out more. As I published more and more books, I was like, wait a minute, does this make sense doing all of this work? And I started experimenting, and I was like, shit, that book had more downloads than those books. And those books I spent 3 hours submitting to websites. Definitely not doing that again. And, and so, I started figuring out, but it wasn't until I started making a few $100s a month that I was like, all right, let me see what other info is out there. But I kept, right? But in the beginning, I stayed laser focused on the one course, on the one program, and I only followed that because that's what I paid for. And
Absolutely.
I think that was one of the reasons I had success, because I just stopped listening to everything else until I was more confident with my abilities and I understood more of what I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure one of the things that you did was not hesitate. Is a lot of people go, well, let me wait till I get to the end of this course before I do it. And then I'll go back through and do it. Do it as
No,
you
you do
go.
it after every single lesson,
Yeah,
right? Like
absolutely. Yes.
I didn't watch the next lesson until I completed the assignments with previous lessons. That's what,
Yes.
right? And like, I don't know how long my course material is. Like maybe it's 45 minutes, maybe it's an hour, whatever. But I've it's relevant. It's good info. So, but it's
Right.
designed that it's like you do lesson one, take action on everything in lesson one. Lesson two doesn't matter until you're done lesson one and
Mhm.
you've fully completed it. The next steps are completely irrelevant to you, right? Like that's when a new person asks me a question. It's like, hey, how do you do this? I'm like, what lesson are you on? You're on lesson one.
Yeah. Then
Your
don't worry
ranking
about it.
book
Yeah.
is completely irrelevant. You don't even have a book in production. Don't worry about
Yes.
that.
Yes, and I get it so many times where actually I get some people that are very excited about breaking into this business, and one of the things that they do is they go, "This is what I'm in the midst of writing," and then they'll go, um, "What do you think of this idea?" And they talk about something completely different. I'm like, "Have you published your first book yet?" And they're going, "No," and I'm like, "Stop talking about it until you get your first book
Totally.
done. I
Yeah.
don't want to talk about your 10th book. You haven't even done your first one."
Right. 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 But it's like you get so caught up in the internet marketing game and the money and the flashy stuff that they get excited. And hey, I'm sure if I, yeah, I'm sure I was like that too a little bit in the beginning. I was, right. It's, my brother yesterday, we were have a family thing and, he saw on Instagram, I posted some pictures of, where are my jets? I ordered, I didn't even order, they were free Gulfstream, the private jets. And I ordered a couple brochures, right? So I could put them up on my dream wall. And he's like, look at you looking to buy jets. I'm like, not yet. But one day I would like to have my own private jet because why the hell not?
Yeah, why not?
Right? And some people it's like, oh, whatever. But for me, I travel a lot. I got family in Mexico, in Canada. I'm building global businesses. I want my own plane. I don't like flying commercial.
Yeah,
I just
standing in
think I
lines,
shouldn't
waiting to
have to.
get through.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So I want to set myself up to do it. I don't even know why we're talking about that. Probably because I wanted to remind myself of why I do these interviews and why I work so hard.
yeah,
But you get caught up in the excitement of the internet marketing lifestyle, and
yeah,
I understand that new people they can get caught up in that excitement too. But you got to take it one step at a time, and
true.
one lesson at a time, one day at a time. Otherwise, you get nothing done. It like I'm sure Kindle publishing has changed your life in ways you never expected.
Never, never.
Right.
You would think you fantasize about those things, but when you actually get it, you're like, oh my God. I mean, I do this on a daily basis. I kind of go, wow, what happened here? Like, this is
Yeah.
amazing.
And it's had an impact on me, and I think I've talked in one of the videos, just one of the smallest impacts was me and my wife, we just go to whatever movie we want now when it comes out, and we order whatever popcorn we want and food in the theater, and we don't stress over it because we just have that little extra, and I don't try to like I'm not somebody making tens of thousands of dollars a month at all.
Right.
you know doing we're doing better than we were at this time last year. That's the most
Wonderful.
important thing. That right there is what I want to try to bring to other people, right? And yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. I can't, well, I wish I could go to any movie I want, but my wife won't let me. That's not a financial thing.
Yeah, it's
I'm
all.
like, I want to go see, the Dark Tower, and she's just like, oh, really? Okay, I guess we can go see I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I guess we're not going to see that. I'll just
Yeah.
eat popcorn at home.
That's
But
awesome.
that's a struggle, a different one right
The
there.
whole
Has
whole
nothing to do
whole
with
different thing,
finances.
right?
That's totally cool. I'll be okay not seeing Stephen King's movies, although that's a, like I said, that's a different conversation, man.
No worries, man. No worries. Well, I think we kind of touched on everything I wanted to really touch on, man. I have a feeling we're definitely gonna have to hook up again and do another interview. And I just think it's good. It's good for business, and hopefully, hit the thumbs up if you all have enjoyed the last hour or so. Okay, and hey, hit the thumbs down if you hated it. We can take it.
Maybe we should try reverse psychology on this one. Don't hit that thumbs down. Don't you dare do that.
Yeah, there you go. But
Inside joke.
yeah. But Dale, man, thank you so much for carving out some time, man. Really, really enjoyed this, and I know a lot of people are going to get a ton of info. Hey, where can people connect with you? How can people follow you? Just shout it out. I'll also put the links in the description. But how can people connect with you?
People can be able to find, first of all, my fitness brand on DaleLRoberts.com. You can be able to get all the information there. Self-publishingwithdale.com has all the resources that I combine from my videos on YouTube at youtube.com/self-publishingwithdale.L.Roberts. That's pretty much all the information that you need. And if you need to reach directly out to me, please feel free to drop me an email over at dale@dalelroberts.com. And I'll make sure I get back to you. I always love hearing from viewers, regardless of how crazy the question you might have. Shoot it to me. It's always a pleasure to be able to connect with viewers.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. Thanks again, Dale. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you.